Welcome back to the new episode with another charming guest here. And today we're going to have a talk with Nadiia. I know her from our classes of English when I was running the English course for English teachers. She used to participate, and then the war started, and the life changed a lot. So Nadiia is going to talk about herself today. Welcome, Nadiia. Could you please tell us what do you do right now and where are you based these days?
Okay. Hi. I'm very happy to have this opportunity to take part in your YouTube show, so to say. Yeah, I'm based in Germany currently. I'm living in Germany and I'm working in German. Before I lived in Kharkov, but when the war started, my two daughters and I fled to Germany. Actually, we were there on the 8th of March. I remember that was the holiday and we came there. And since then, I have a new story of my life and new experience. Yeah. It was quite interesting. So I didn't choose the town or the city to live. I didn't choose the job where to go. I felt everything happened like on the flow. So I just called one of my students who lived there. She's a doctor, and she used to be my student. So I asked her for help. She married a German man, and she had lived in Germany for 5 years before the war started. And I called her. We had quite friendly relationship. Yeah, and she helped me and some other families. So there were several Ukrainian families who came to her, and we lived in her house. And then one German family was ready to invite Ukrainian women with children to stay at their place for some time until they can find accommodation or flat where to live. And in such a way, we appeared to live in a small town called Linen. This is actually a resort area in Germany. And there are no enterprises or some factories or anything like that. There is just one school, primary school. This is public school, and the Waldorf school. When I came there, I was looking for a job. I didn't want to work online with the Ukrainian students because I knew that according to German laws, that was problematic and I could have some problems. That's why I decided to work offline, and I wrote an email to the principal in that school. I remember that I wrote it first in English, and with the help of Google Translator, translated to German. And luckily, they were looking for an English teacher, and they invited me for the interview. I don't know how it happened, but they were really open and friendly. There are a lot of restrictions for the teachers in Germany in general to get a place, not only for immigrants, for foreigners, but also for Germans themselves. So you have, in general, the main requirement is to have C1 level of German to work in school, and this is at least. In general, you have to have C2. But during the interview, I decided to speak in English. So I had A1, probably A1 level. I could prepare for the interview to prepare the main phrases or something. But I decided so I will do it as I can. And I had 4 people at the interview, these people who run the school, and everything was really great, and they offered me the job. But then I faced one more challenge. I had to work with students of primary school. So primary school pupils, and from the 1st till the 4th grade. And I was a little bit confused.
Yeah, sorry for interruption. I just want to ask a question about your teaching experience. Have you ever worked before with primary schools? Why was it a challenge for you?
Yeah, 8 years before the war started, I had been working as a teacher in a language school for adults. Then before that time, I worked in the university with the language foreign department. Those were teenagers and also adults. But when I was a student myself, I took part in summer camps, English summer camps. I took part several years, and that was a English-Ukrainian summer camp, and we had to speak English there, and we had to prepare all events, lessons for the children in English. And there were a lot of songs, poems, different games, different funny activities, because it was at the sea. The lessons were not very serious. They were just for for cultivating, I don't know, speaking activities of pupils. Yeah, and that experience really helped me. I found all my notes. I found those songs, and I used during my lessons, because according to the Waldorf approach, the pupils of primary school pupils learn the language with the help of speaking and interacting. There is no writing, there is no reading. I mean, foreign language. And actually their native language, they learn in the same way. They start reading and write it only in the second form. In the first form, they don't read and don't write. And 3 years of studying, so they learn the foreign language with the help of interacting, communicating, singing, playing, and what else? And learning the poems.
Yeah, could you please tell a little bit more about the school? Is it a public school, a private school? Which ages? What kind of kids go there?
So this is considered to be Freie Waldorfschule. I would say it like this, because I cannot say that it's private school, and I cannot say that it's public school. So the school is financed by the government. There are also parents' donations. There is no a set fee for the school, but there are donations, and the school has more freedom in choosing their way of teaching. Actually, there is the whole system how to teach, and they have their special timetable, their special subjects. The school, this system of the school exists for I think for more than 50 years, and that's why they had more freedom to offer me this job, because public schools wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it would be the question. Have you had any training in the school? If they have the special approach to teaching children, did they offer you any special training?
When I got an offer in summer, and I had to start my work at the end of August. So I had about a month before. I did the research. I found a lot of books, and I bought some of them. Then there is also on a site for Waldorf school teachers, and there is a site. For example, I chose English, and they give recommendations, and they give on the one hand, they give recommendations. On the other, some poems, some songs that you can incorporate as you want. You can use, or you may not use as you want. So actually the teacher has a lot of freedom. I'm the teacher working there. I also have a lot of freedom. I can even choose the book, the learning book that we can use. However, public school, they don't have a lot of choice, and they are obliged to use from some specific books. They go.
What about the timetable? What are your working hours in this school?
I was really lucky to get so much comfortable timetable for me. I have a daughter, two daughters, and we live alone there. I mean, my husband is still in Ukraine, and I don't have any relative there. That's why I have to send my little daughter to the kindergarten. Then my elder daughter has to go to school, and I need some time to get to work. And so I start at 10. Really, I have enough time to do all this morning duties and then go to work. And this is I was really happy to have it. And this is again because it's the Waldorf school. They have 2 hours in the morning. They have so-called the main lesson. This is the lesson. It's the lesson that lasts really 2 hours. And Klassenlehrer, like the class tutor, holds this lesson, and they have special topic, like they start with the singing the song, there is a candle, there is with some discussion of the previous day, like for supporting like emotional state of the kids, then for praying. And then they have some time for learning. It can be either math or read, or it's based on of course on the class and the grade, math or reading or geography books. And according to the epoch, they have the topic and discuss it. And then after that, they have some other subjects. They called Fachstunden. So the second language, the first English, and then the third language, then handicraft, art, music, and everything else. Yeah, that's why the timetable is really comfortable, and I'm working part-time.
So what are your hours? Like how many?
Yeah, I have this year I had 12 hours a week. It's exactly half.
Yeah, so the full time would be 24.
24, yeah. And this timetable is really comfortable. Really, you really can have work-life balance. So I work 2-3 hours a day. Of course, I need to prepare for the lessons, and it takes time. But that was efficiently for me to combine.
So you start at 10 in the morning, and then when do you finish?
At 1.
At 1. So you have time to go to school to pick up your daughters from the school?
Yeah, my daughter comes on her own. I mean, from the kindergarten. My kindergarten closes at 4. That's why I have to pick her up at 4. And I finish my work at 1. Then I have some me time, so to say. I have time for learning German. Actually, this is the an hour. Then I have an hour for hobby. I dance, and then I go and take my daughter from the kindergarten, because with a 3-4-year-old child, it's really difficult to study and to do something else.
Yeah, that's true. What about your colleagues? Did you feel, or do you feel in the school that they support you a lot and help you in preparation?
I think, again, maybe in this question of immigration, I am blessed by God, because the colleagues and the team in general, because there are not only teachers but some other workers, they are all so supportive, so understanding. And at the beginning, it was really a challenge for me to work with the primary pupils, because I mean, in terms of discipline, in terms of managing an organization. I remember my first lesson, and it was just a horror film. I couldn't catch them. Just 45 minutes, I was trying to catch them. One girl was riding a scooter. There was a scooter in the classroom. Two boys were fighting. One was singing, and I left. I remember my first working day. I left the school, and I told myself, if I cope with this, I will cope with everything. And I talked to them, but they couldn't. They didn't listen to me. They couldn't understand anything. Children were busy doing their stuff. There is a strange woman who came and started talking in English to them, some strange language they didn't hear before, like in the first grade, for example, or maybe. And what does she want? And the teacher, klassenlehrer, the tutor, of the class, the man, very experienced and very great person, I should say, and a great teacher. He suggested that I would come to his lessons, observe, and we would have a part of English during his main lessons, so to say. And he took part in those activities. He observed my lesson, gave some recommendations, and I also learned how he dealt with kids, because
The discipline.
at my lesson they were doing like this. It's my first lesson, and later it was like 1 month.
So these are the same kids, like
the same kids at his lesson, 2 hours sitting on the bench. Okay, not 2 hours, okay, 40 and 40, because 40 hours sitting on the bench. They don't have they don't have desks. They have like that was the second grade. They have benches, and sometimes sitting on the pillows, on the benches, a little bit moving. The same kids sitting and listening to him. And I was shocked. How? How? Because there are some kids with hyperactive syndrome. So they behave like this because they have some reasons. And he could cope with that. He could find that approach. Of course, I understand that was not easy for him too, but he's an experience. I think he told me he has been working in the school for 35 years or 40 years. So actually really a lot.
If you compare your first classes with what you do now, how have you managed this problem? How did you cope with it? Is their behavior still the same, or do they now know?
So my first year of working with primary students was remembering my childhood. I came to the class and I told myself, now you're a child, play with them, act with them, interact. So you should be on the one hand an adult, but on the other hand a little bit childish. And then it works. You are on the same wavelength together and they feel it. You're more relaxed. The second year of working there, I started working with secondary school pupils and with high school pupils, high school, so to say. And I didn't have those kids anymore. It's difficult for me. to compare. However, I had some substitutions in their classes, and when I came, they were happy to do what we did, and I felt how I could, because I saw, I could feel and I could manage, because I got the idea of the lesson. So a little bit on the bench with some finger play, then stand up, then this 5-7 minute approach. So I learned as a teacher, I learned, and this is in general the approach of Waldorf system, that teachers learn along with students. So tutors, they teach most of the subjects, starting from the language, finishing physics and chemistry and everything else. That's why you may not be professional, or you may not know deep, profound knowledge in every subject, but you are a human person. You are able to learn it. Do it together with the students. They have the question, you have the question. Investigate that together. I mean, I'm speaking about 8th grade students, 9th grade students, yeah, 9th.
If you had the chance to choose your students, which age would you choose for yourself to teach?
Oh, I don't have electricity, you see.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
I will try. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope I
fine.
have the connection. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are very different, and they're very different. And actually, I got fun with both, like with primary pupils, with secondary, primary school pupils, all those
primary children, primary kids.
primary kids, and yeah, and primary kids and secondary kids. Time flies differently during the lesson. This is what I've noticed. This is a great difference, really. You, for example, you've done 15 activities in the 2nd grade, and you think, wow, this is already 45 or 40 minutes past. You look at your watch and you understand that it's just 15 minutes, but you are wet. And with, for example, with 9th grade pupils, we have we just started, we checked homework, we had some lead in to the topic, and this is the end. So I noticed this difference, this difference in time, yeah, like as a resource for the lesson. But and I don't know why, actually, because for kids, time flies.
They need to, you have to change activities quickly in order to.
You have to change activities quickly. With teenagers, you can speak, you can like discuss something, you can ask how they are, and just 10 minutes they can tell you.
Sharing with their stories.
Yeah.
What about, have you noticed any differences between German students and Ukrainian students? Are there any cultural things that you noticed when you started teaching there? Maybe in terms of attitude.
Actually, what I see, children are children everywhere. And that's really true. I don't actually, that's difficult to compare, because I didn't work as a school teacher in Ukraine. That's why when I see some problems in the school with children, I'm talking to myself and say, do Ukrainian teachers have the same problems in Ukrainian schools? Or, for example, like this problem with hyperactive children, there are quite a lot of them. And when I was a pupil, I don't remember these cases when there were hyperactive pupils. So, however, I don't know, probably. Maybe now there are a lot problems like this in Ukrainian schools too. So That's difficult for me to compare because I didn't work in Ukrainian school, but I was as a counselor in the camp, and I worked with kids. And in this way, I think children are children. They have no differences for me.
All right. Mhm.
Maybe they feel more relaxed, but still, it can be just the like the moment of the school, because there are a lot of subjects devoted to developing like emotional understanding of the pupils, of yourself, then developing imagination. That's why they have a lot of handicraft, like music lessons and art lessons, and that these activities calm down. You know, like when you are doing it, you like meditate, and that's why they feel probably just this point. As for the aspects of learning English, of course, and pupils learn English faster because there are a lot of similar words in German language, though grammar is different. But there are a lot of the same words, and they learn and perceive these words really quickly. And they use children, I mean, like teenagers, they watch everything in English. They watch YouTube in English. I think the reason is just because there is not so much content in German, but the content in English is really huge. That's why they watch it. They play computer games in English. So English is very, very natural for them. And they like ninth grade pupils have like good B1 level. They finish the school with B2. That's for sure. Some of them C1 in gymnasiums, C1. That's why, yeah, that is the difference that I noticed. In my class in the 11th grade, I had also native speakers, you know, bilingual. They, yeah, for example, their mother or fathers from Great Britain. That was also challenging for me, but they were very kind, and if I was not very sure in some topic, I could even ask them, you know, about the vocabulary, if they would use it in this context, or mostly it's about vocabulary. Yeah, the combination of vocabulary, like grammar. I taught grammar, so grammar was not the strong point. Yeah, but about vocabulary, and that was also nice. Not only colleagues, but also pupils supported me. You know, we had very
good that
yeah, yeah.
to work with. Let's go a little bit backwards into your past and to those times when you worked in Ukraine as a teacher. Could you tell what kind of school did you work for, and what are your insights from working for that school? What do you remember more about that?
You mean language school that I worked?
That
Yeah,
you
that's like courses. Yeah, for 8 years I worked for ElSol. This is English Spanish school, but it was developed into English, Spanish, German language school. Yeah, and some and even Russian for foreigners. Yeah, at that time we had the courses. And again, I was lucky to have a very friendly, developing, and motivating community of teachers. And I was really inspired by the community that we had. When I came to have an interview, I had to wait for the principal of the school for 30 minutes. no, not 30, maybe 15 minutes, because I came earlier and she was finishing her school where she was a student. She was learning French. And some other teachers were learning some other languages. So all the teachers there were learning some languages. And they were visiting different seminars. They were developing themselves as personalities. And I was so, I felt inspired, yeah, and I felt so content being there. Content, yeah. And I started doing the same things. I wanted actually doing the same thing. That's why I think I found that place where I could do different things. We invited different speakers. We had different seminars together. We learned different languages together. We did different hobbies together, like starting from yoga, finishing Qigong, and different stuff like that. Yeah.
It's extremely
And
important.
what I had actually in that school, I realized that for the teacher, it's very important to develop for teachers, it's very important to develop themselves as personalities, not only some professional skills, how to teach different approaches to teaching grammar, listening, reading, and everything, but to be an interesting person. Just like a Kate, a teacher who was working there, she played the guitar. She's in the band. She learns French or Spanish. She travels a lot. It's just interesting for her to come to the lesson and sometimes to hear some stories, to interact. And the students, they come, I'm speaking about offline lessons, yeah. Students came twice a week, every week, and you have to, it's great when the teacher can inspire and can have interesting and can support actually interesting topics, because there are different people, businessmen, doctors, IT specialists, and when they speak about stakeholders and you have no idea what that word means, so that's in general good for the teachers to visit different seminars, to take part in different in events, activities. Yeah, just to be a versatile person.
Talking about your image of an excellent student, who is that for you? Who is an ideal student? Let's talk about adults. You had like huge experience with working with adults. Who is an excellent adult student?
That's a quite difficult question for me to answer. Really, probably an excellent student is a student who is in a positive mood, first of all, who is eager to learn, and who is eager to do this way, first of all. And I can, as a teacher, I can support and help and show this way. So, but the students should understand that these are their ways to learn the languages. And yeah, about motivated. Yeah, motivated, when there is motivation.
If we talk about adults, usually they do have motivation.
Yeah, that's why it was quite in this term, that was quite easy to work with adults, because they all came to learn the language. They paid for their lessons, and they were ready to get as much as possible. Yeah, and to take. However, yeah, some of them were also shy to speak. Yeah, we are all different. But in general, the motivation was always high. In school, it's different. Some pupils don't understand why they should learn English if they want just to live in Germany and I can speak German, and like I'm not going to move. Why I need it, especially primary pupils. Yeah, for them it's quite difficult to understand why they should learn. That's why this relaxed atmosphere of learning languages helps.
What is your favorite part of teaching? I mean, like, why? What are the advantages that you find in teaching? What are the benefits for yourself?
I think when we have the speaking part, the teaching, because this when whole class activities, we don't have like big classes, and in some classes it's possible to do whole class activities, and when they and we discuss some topics, we answer some questions, they answer some questions, and we ask the question, and this live interaction, you know, like real life communication. And I think during these activities, the pupils can really share something that they don't tell during the other subjects. Yeah, there is no point. And English is the subject that helps like open people, because we have a lot of personal questions, a lot of interesting questions. It's about life, because language is about life, about everyday life. And when I prepare this type of questions according to the topic, and they start answering for the whole class, and the other students, and I motivate other students to ask extra questions, and they then ask extra questions. They dig deeper, and they really learn about each other more, though they've been 9 years together in one class, and they may not know the jobs of their classmates, parents. It can happen. Yeah, I mean, like some things that they dreamt in childhood, or toys that they played. Yeah, that's why I like these moments, because they like a kind of therapy. And after such kind of lessons, I feel that we are a little bit more tight, you know?
Yeah, close together. Yeah, you become closer. Yeah, so speaking is your favorite aspect to teach. All right, and which challenges do you see in teaching in general? What kind of problems might appear that could be difficult to deal with besides discipline? Like we discussed discipline already, so any other challenge?
Yeah, managing the class.
For me, it could be, for example, preparation to classes. It can take a lot
of time.
Especially absolutely different.
Like it's different teaching adults, it's different teaching teenagers and primary kids. Different challenges, really. With sometimes to find an individual approach to a pupil is difficult to me. You know, when the pupil says, "Today I don't want to do anything," just because it's not connected to English, it may not be connected to like to the school. It may be connected to something happening in the family, and like I feel puzzled what to do, to leave this person alone or to talk, to motivate to do it, because it can last several lessons, you know. And to find it probably student simulates or just got used to it. Some moments like this, to find an individual approach to to the student, that is to understand them. That is sometimes difficult because there is, yeah, there are different situations. And sometimes I find out about some illness, and I understand. Like sometimes I feel that I'm walking on the edge, that I need to be very, very sympathetic to feel the situation.
Yeah.
Like dealing with people, because this is the most difficult for me, because people sometimes are unpredictable.
Yeah, especially teenagers.
Yeah, especially teenagers with all their emotions and problems that they have.
All right, let's move on to talk about you not as a teacher, but as a learner. You are right now in a different country, and definitely you are learning German. Can you tell please about your way? How do you learn it? Do you go to courses? Do you have tutors? Do you do it on your own? How much time do you invest into that?
Yeah, as I want to work as a teacher, if I stay in Germany, I don't know what kind of plans I have for the future. Now I see just 2-3 months. 2-3 months
In advance.
in advance. Yeah, thank you. Now I see just 2-3 months in advance. I cannot plan my future, but for being a teacher, you have to have C1 and C2. I have already mentioned that, and I have to be really fast in this. But I know what C1 in English is and C2 in English is. And in German, that just for 2 years, that's impossible to get C1. I had a deadline that in 2 years, I had to learn German till C1 level. That's why I built up my timetable. I had a German lesson every day. I learned it, and I have 2 teachers and a club, also speaking club. So I have my German lessons 6 times a week, except Sunday. Yeah, and I have that's interesting. Actually, I'm learning 3 lessons a week. I have with Kate, her. You met her at in Kiev at the seminar. Remember differently.
Met at the
Blonde. Yeah. Yes, and we learn German together. Then I have also individual lessons where I practice grammar more. And the speaking club where I use all knowledge that I had during.
These teachers that you have, they're all Ukrainians, or you do have a German?
Yeah, I have all Ukrainians. Yeah, and I have online. I have no possibility to visit these courses, and they have that they actually suggest in Germany.
Is it okay?
It's possible.
Courses, I know that they are obligatory. Is it okay?
Yeah, they are obligatory, but I'm working part-time. That's why they have no questions to me, and I can choose. Actually, I enjoy learning the languages in general. I enjoy learning, and after every lesson, I can be tired. I can be not in a bad mood, but after every lesson, I feel much better, and I feel energetic. I think this is just my aspect, learning languages. And I think when I know German for C1 level, I will take some other language to learn. Why not? This is my hobby. I like it. The problem is that I just don't have so much time. Like I have many aspects that I need to cover myself. I mean, with kids, with all bureaucracy that I face in Germany, with work, with doing shopping, like food shopping. I don't like it, when you have lots of like lots of bags and I don't have a car there. That's why it's difficult.
You have a bicycle there to help you.
But I have a bicycle, yeah. That's why learning language is the aspect that gives me energy and that fulfills me with positive vibes, I would say. I would like to have more time. For example, I have 1 hour lesson and 40 hours of doing homework and something like that. Not I have everything on my way, just on my way running somewhere.
Do you have any
That is
German
the problem.
friends to help you practice? Do you have any German friends to help you practice speaking?
I speak with colleagues in German, yeah. And at the beginning of the year, I told them, please don't feel free to correct my mistakes, because actually I pay money for the teachers who can correct the mistakes and can help me with the language. Because for them, it's impolite in general to correct, And and now I see that they can do it and they feel more relaxed, because I usually show them, wow, thank you. Thank you for helping me and for improving my language. And they actually know that I do a lot for learning the language, and they also want to help in such a way. For example, one teacher, she's a German teacher, the teacher of German language, and she suggested that I can send her some essays and she can check, or I can. And with learning German, it's great to have this endless access to native speakers,
Everywhere.
Something everywhere. You can always ask about the meaning of the word, or how to use it in this context, or is it okay if it sounds okay to use it in some different context. When I was learning English, I was always lacking this opportunity. I needed that. I needed a person who I wanted to ask the list of questions that I had.
Instead of consulting dictionaries or looking up.
Yeah.
Yes. You have a person to talk to.
That's why it's of course it's great to learn the language in to learn German in German speaking surroundings. You really when we came, I remember Kate and we noticed a lot of phrasal verbs that we didn't use before. So we learned language for A1 level probably, but we used and we noticed that they use a lot of phrasal verbs, like to close the door, to open the door. There is a phrasal verb, and not just close and open. We know this word, but this is a phrasal verb. You noted these peculiarities in language surrounding.
When you came to Germany, which level did you have of German? Was it 0 or did you?
I think it was like A1, probably.
And now?
No. I had an exam. It's called TELC in Germany, and I passed B1, and I applied for B2 in November. And still, this is quite high speed, like quick. Yeah, this is yeah.
Do you personally feel that you do have this B1 confident level?
B1, I do. Because I know that a lot of Ukrainians came to Germany. They had 4 hours a day, 5 days a week lessons. They didn't have enough time to digest all the information that they perceived, and it was like somewhere on the shallow of the water. And I was learning that with the teachers, with the books, with German books, with my pace mostly, my friend's pace. That's why we had the stops on important moments, or we could ask please, can we have this topic once again? Can we drill the vocabulary more often, or can we read some more lessons for speaking? And we are teachers, you know.
This was
That's
my
why sometimes we can, sometimes we can organize lessons ourselves. We say, or we have this new vocabulary, can write the questions for the next lesson, okay, to each other, because it's in general, it's great to learn the language with a friend.
Yeah, that's
with
true.
your friend, because you want to know what is happening in the friend's life. You haven't seen for 2-3 days, and she's living in general in the other part of Germany. And when we meet, we have this opportunity to speak and endure. She tells about her life, I tell about my life. We ask the question because that's interesting for us, not just because we need to do it, because for practicing the language. And that really motivates us to visit that lesson. We have this great bonus. And we don't need to call or message, but we meet at the lesson. In general, I had the idea to greet with every my friend to do something interesting together.
Yeah, I wanted to
not to keep in touch, and not to lose the contacts, because now we are all in different countries.
Yeah. The comment about teachers who are learning a new language, it's actually the benefit that we have, because we know how it works, how the language works, how the system works, how you need to plan what you need. And if you do it with your friend who is also a teacher, this is great, because you both feel how to move, how to progress, and where to.
There is also a disadvantage of that, because sometimes you may think, oh, that vocabulary can be drilled in a different way, or that grammar can be different. Well, actually, this text is for giving this grammar, not just for learning the vocabulary or discussing the topic, and the teacher didn't take it as didn't grammar at all, and this, there are also drawbacks of being a teacher, because you think that something can be done better.
Right. Yeah. So you observe the class from a perspective of a teacher, and you think that, oh, I would do this that way. I think in this respect, you have to trust a person who you take lessons. Like if you trust and if you know that the result will be obvious, then I think you can forgive these things and you can just go.
You
can enjoy the classes. How do you manage to combine motherhood and job? I know that you are alone in Germany with 2 kids and they're small. Where do you find this inspiration and motivation and powers and strengths to combine all together?
It's a difficult question for me to answer, because I really don't know how I do it. If somebody told me 3 years ago that I would do it, I wouldn't believe, because it's like too much. Sometimes it's too much. On the one hand, my work gives me a lot of pleasant moments, but on the other hand, it also requires following some regulations, so to say. For example, I had demo lessons for some people from ministerium, this is called, and that was hard emotionally. And when you have to prepare for this, you have demo lessons, you know that it's in 2 weeks, and you have to prepare the lesson, and here are the kids. Nobody canceled them for 2 weeks, You don't want to eat, you don't need to go to the kindergarten or to school. Wait, here I have this 2 weeks, give me this time. That's very important. I need to prepare, or 1 week, I don't remember how. or some moments about letters. There are a lot of letters in Germany. When you get, you have to answer. You have to fill in 30 pages or 15 pages, and you have to send it as quick as possible, and they cannot wait. And I'm balancing feeling that it's going to be easier later.
Hoping, yeah, hoping.
You know, like hoping that it's going to be easier later, but I think I should find some different motivation, because it seems, I don't think that it will be easier.
It's working. You don't feel that it is working.
Mm-hmm.
Which things do you teach your kids? Like you were as a teacher, do you spend kind of educational time with your kids? Do you teach them German or English or any other things?
My elder daughter has a German teacher too from Ukraine. Like what I teach her to use time efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
I told her, you have a perfect time now to learn everything that you want and to try everything that you want. So she has drama lessons, she goes to the swimming pool, she has choir lessons, and then and in German. She doesn't have any English lessons. Unfortunately, I think as for now, that's enough what she has at school. Later, I think she will need. And when my daughter wants to give up, yeah, she has a lot of hobbies. So I say, in this case, I tell my daughter that discipline will bring you to the point that motivation cannot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good idea.
You have to do, and you will get to that point. So sometimes I don't want to have lesson of German because I'm in a bad mood, or I'm tired, or I'm hungry. I would rather cook something. But I have this timetable, and I sit and have this lesson. And I learn. And then I get the result, and the result inspires.
Mm-hmm.
The result shows that it was the right way. And in this way. About my little one, I just try to give enough of hugs, kisses, and enough of the attention. Yeah, because she's in the kindergarten till 4, and then she comes and she goes to bed at 8. We don't have so much time, and I think she needs to compensate that. Yeah, that's why I'm hugging her a lot and kissing. I think this is the most important for her development now, for her good psychological state and feeling that she's loved.
Mm-hmm.
Because she misses father's love too. Now we are in Ukraine, all family together, and she feels so happy. I see it. She's all the time so excited. Yeah.
Now, and the family is united. You mentioned that you have hobbies about dancing and learning languages. Can you tell more, please, about your other passions in life besides teaching?
Yeah, I'm doing dancing with the teacher, but also online. Now it's very convenient. We don't have actually a lot of opportunities there in that little town to go somewhere. There are some, so to say, vereins. This is called like some courses, clubs, yeah, where you can learn something, but not so many, and mostly for kids. And this online opportunity gives the possibility to choose whatever you want. To choose everything you want, not whatever, everything that you want, and to do everything that you want. And I wanted to do some desk class, and that's why I found the teacher. And it's really clear, and it's like offline lessons. Really, I don't feel the difference. Yeah, I'm really happy that we have Zoom now and this connection, because in other case, I wouldn't do anything of that.
You're doing a lot of education online these days. Do you feel that you lack offline communication with your teacher, like to exchange the energy in the classroom? Do you want to take anything?
So I have online. I have my lessons online, but I work offline. That's why I feel that balance. Yeah. And actually, what I want to say, this job as a teacher in Germany helped me realize how I really love my profession. Because in Ukraine, sometimes I doubted if that was my right way. I wanted to change my profession, my way. It happened from time to time. But here in Germany, I realized that I actually wanted to do that because of money, not because I didn't want to do it. I wanted to earn more money. Here in Germany, I don't think of money. So the salary is quite good even for part-time jobs, and there are some financial support also. There is financial support for kids, for example, and I don't think of money. And I can really enjoy enjoy what I do.
Your main job. You don't have to
Yeah,
some other ways to earn money, like for private.
and I really notice almost every day that after school, after my work, I feel fulfilled, energetic, useful for the society. I never thought of that before, to be useful for people. Yeah, for to be useful for other people. I feel that I'm useful for other people, and that also gives me this pleasant feeling, like I would say, serving.
Serving people. What about the attitude? Like, how do German people, what kind of attitude do they have to teachers in general?
This is a very respected job. Teachers in public school, they are state workers. They get some extra payment, like policemen, fire workers, and teachers. They are state, like державні службовці, yeah, state workers. Because they they take some really important responsibilities on their shoulders. I mean, even writing the characteristics to the pupils. So it's up to the characteristic if the pupil can study in the university, if a pupil can study in the university later or not. This is very responsible. And the teacher's word is very important.
This is something that in Ukraine, this attitude and respect to teachers of all subjects, not only English.
The society respect the society. I see it, especially in a small town, that people respect the work of teachers. They respect all these works that serve people. For example, when I asked the pupils of the ninth grade, there was the question, who do you respect in your life the most, something like that. And I thought they would write grandfather, father, you know, something about relatives. And 90% of pupils wrote policemen. They respect policemen for their work, for the safety that they have in their country, for their city. And for me, it was, you know, a bit shocking. They take part as volunteers in this firefighters brigades. So it's like a club for boys from the age of 10. They constantly visit these lectures, lessons where they learn how to help in case of fire in emergency or fire in the town. And if it happens, so they get a special message on their phone. For example, when they are adults already, they take part in these volunteering programs when they are kids, and they continue then, and then they get emergency, and they leave their jobs if it's possible and go to help, because this is my town, city, village. I need to protect it. I like. You asked me about the difference, about the difference in children. I think the difference in the society I would mention, and that also influences children. They learn to volunteer a lot. They learn to do a lot of work that is not paid, but you have to help. Disabled people, not have you are
it's about serving the society, serving your community.
Serving the society, yeah. You are taught to do that. It's so natural.
And it is respected as well. Like in Ukraine, like with the war, I think something has changed, of course, in Ukraine as well. But before, we had a different attitude to volunteering and working for free and serving people.
Yeah, that's why they from school, from the very early age, they start volunteering and doing something good for everyone, like for the society, and that is a great difference.
Yeah. Right, and then finishing, we like I have a habit of finishing the episode with asking some life philosophy questions. If you go to yourself at the age of, let's say, 25, which single advice would you give to yourself at that age?
Yeah, I thought of this kind of questions of 20, 25. I think people usually choose the best way for themselves. And all my choices and all my decisions I took at the age of 25, they were good for me at that time and at my level of development. I couldn't just go in a different way. Because probably I didn't have enough, I didn't have some necessary traits of character, or they were not developed enough, or I had some fears. I coped with them later, but then I had, that's why I choose to think that at that age, in those conditions, at that time, with those parents, with that country, I did my best choices and everything was right.
So you don't have any regrets about anything that you did?
I do actually. I do, but I tried to think that I couldn't do in another way. For example, at the university, when I enrolled at the university, I chose the second foreign language, Hebrew.
Oh,
Yeah,
what's
there was no motivation at all. There was one motivation. It was one like slight motivation. It was easier to get to that department to study for free. Yeah. But for me, the second language was like German, Italian, French, Hebrew, Chinese. What's the difference? You have the first English, and the second can be any language you can learn. But later I realized that it might have been a mistake because I cannot use it in any way. I have completely forgotten about like this language. And but that was time. I spent 4 years. Probably that was some system that I learned, some interesting, some interesting system, some interesting culture. I wouldn't have learned that in another way. To understand like people from Israel, yeah, and their culture, because they haven't very interesting culture. Yeah. That was when people ask me what do you regret about this. I always remember this moment because it's time. It took a lot of time to learn, and
nothing?
there is no, yeah, no outcome.
Maybe in the future
Mhm.
you will need it. You can come back and restore your knowledge. But yeah, German, for example, would serve you better, of course, if you have chosen that.
Yeah, for sure. Save my time right now. Yeah, for sure. That's why probably at the age of 18, I would tell myself choose another second language for learning German.
Yeah, but in our reality, you never know what you need and what you don't need. You can never be prepared for everything.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. However, I met my best friend in the group that I studied. In that group, which was Turkish, and we were together in one group because groups were small, and we've been friends for I don't know for many years, for 15 years. And actually, in that group, I found my friend, one of my best friends. I think that probably that was the reason why I that language. German I can learn right now. It's quite difficult to find a person that you live alone so much time. I mean, she's always in my life, and I'm always in her life.
We've been talking for about, I think, an hour and a half, and I think we can continue even more discussing these things. It was a big pleasure to listen to your stories and to hear your way, how you grow professionally, how you acquire new areas for yourself, yeah, how you learn German and how you start teaching, how you've started teaching kids, which is a big challenge. I can't imagine myself teaching kids, at least maybe. I will have to do it in the future, I don't know. But at this moment, when I have a choice, I will never teach kids. It's too exhausting in terms of emotions, I think, to dance, to play, to include a lot of activities. So you are doing a great job. Thank you for sharing these stories here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting.
Thank you.
Yeah.